everybody. Today I thought I would talk about instinctual drives in dogs, and while I'm musing about these drives, you get to watch this little hunter do just that. She's going to be fulfilling some of her innate instinctual drives.
Is it around there somewhere?
Of course, not all dogs have strong opinions about hunting and are easily dissuaded from hunting, but a lot of us have dogs who live for fulfilling some or most parts of the predatory sequence. So then we have to talk about how we deal with those drives, because for obvious reasons, these drives can become really problematic really fast. One school of thought is to manage some more, and never give the dog the opportunity to self-reward with a live chase or a live scent. The idea being that once they get the taste of that kind of self-reinforcement, you'll never get them back. I'm just not that good. I don't have the right kind of personality for that level of micromanagement. Plus, we live out in the boonies where bunnies and deer pop out when I open the front door, and even if I were excellent at management, it's gonna fail.
Babe. Good girl, good girl.
Another school of thought is to punish the hunting behavior. Punishing instinctual drives is a whole nother discussion in and of itself. Short version, I don't think you can. And I mean punishing in the behavioral sense, as in you're extinguishing the behavior. I don't think you can ever extinguish strong instinctual drives. I do think it's possible to use aversives effectively to help with non-compliance related to competing drives, but it's tricky, and I still think people get confused between punishing drive and punishing behavior related to that drive, and that creates a whole lot of unnecessary conflict and confusion in the dog. But like I said, that's a whole nother discussion. So long story short, I take a different approach. You might have heard over this voiceover that I'm constantly praising Penny for what she's doing. And this accomplishes a few things. First, it increases value for me and my praise because all of those feel-good hormones that she's getting from sniffing are now being associated with good girl and my voice. It also makes me part of her hunting equation. So hunting is something that we do together. I'm a part of it, not an annoyance telling her to stop or preventing her from hunting. Another way to think of this, traditionally, these would be competing reinforcers. One is the hunting, which is self-rewarding, and one is working with me, which has a long history of reinforcement as well. So instead of those two things competing with each other, now they become one and the same. So hunting is working with me, and there's no conflict. The dog gets to hunt, and she gets to work with the handler, which coincidentally builds value for the handler as well. So when I do ask her to move on, watch how easy it is for her. You're not going to see any conflict in her body language. She's happy to comply, and she trusts that I will offer her more hunting opportunities as we move on. Hunting is not something I'm going to stop her from doing.
Pen, I'm going this way, babe. Unless you found it over there. No. All right, I'm coming this way. Good girl. Good girl. Let's see what we can find up here. Yeah. Ready? Go.
Now, to be clear, I don't just throw the dog out in the woods and let her have at it. First of all, she's in an area where it's perfectly safe for her to follow a scent or even chase if she stirs anything up. But when I first got her, she started on a long line, and we did a lot of foundation work, and I've documented a lot of that here on this channel. One of the many foundation games that we play is what you're watching right now. I call it Magic Tree. I think I've seen other trainers call it Sausage Tree, but the idea is the same. You encourage that scenting behavior, and you work in the reward of your choice. And what this does is it builds value for that reward. So you're building the value of the reward that you're choosing. You build the value of the handler, and you create that feeling of teamwork with your dog when they're hunting.
Not up there. Find it.
So there you go. Those are some of my thoughts on instinctual drives, how I handle them. What do you think? How do you handle your dog's drives? Let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. Happy training.
Good girl.